This is the Jocko Underground Podcast, number 207, sitting here with Echo Charles, and we are going to review some questions from the field.
Yeah.
On the front lines,
Sure.
where the rubber meets the road. You all are out there, troopers, getting after it. We will provide you with some answers, some courses of action, some recommendations to help you get through these challenges that you're facing. That's where we're at. Let's go.
All right, first question from the field. Could you tell me what your opinion is about jiu-jitsu coaches bringing their dogs to the gym? I saw one time a dog was free to step on the mats at one of the gyms I went to. Recently, another instance, I saw a dog was allowed to sleep on a special rug, but not on the mats. What's your take?
I like dogs, you know.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of part of it. So, you know, having a dog in school, it's pretty much like seems to be fine with me. We used to have a dog named Victory at the Victory Gym.
Yeah.
But it was only downstairs.
Yeah, not on the mats.
Not on the mats. You know, I think the dogs being on the mat is kind of that's doesn't seem like a great idea to me. You know, look, the dogs are going to be bringing dirt onto the mat because they don't wear shoes. So now when they walk on the mat, they're just going from the regular floor to the mat. You know, we wear flip-flops or whatever, slippers, when we go off the mat, and so we try and keep it as clean as we can. And also, dogs have claws, so now they're just cutting up the mat, so that doesn't seem too smart. And I think a lot of this just has to depend with the school, man. In a little school, you could see it's not that big of a deal. They're you know, but if you have a bigger school, and all of a sudden you got a dog running around, that seemed like it could be a little bit problematic. Overall, I guess I'm okay with it, but I'm also just kind of open-minded in general. Not many things really bother me.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is a place where disease can spread, right? Ringworm, staph infections. There's all kinds of nasty stuff that can be on the mats. If you're in a gym that is doesn't have issues with that regularly, and look, there's gyms like the cleanest gyms in the world. They can have problems. Like hospitals have problems with staph infections. You know, these things can happen. But, you know, usually if they happen, you kind of round things up and get control over them. So if there's not a steady state of, if there's a steady state of general cleanliness in your gym and there's a dog there, cool. If there's a general state of like not cleanliness in the gym and there's a dog there, doesn't seem like it'd be cool. So I think if the gym is clean and then it's really no factor to have the dog hanging out. And if the gym is dirty, then the dog doesn't probably help out. That's kind of where I'm at.
Doesn't help out. No, not really. Yeah, you're right. You said something there that was actually the real point where you're like, you said, not many things bother me. And I get it, man. And I'm actually with you with the dogs. Like, to me, I pretty much trust the owner. And, you know, if the owner seems pretty squared away, because let's face it, I mean, lately you got a little, let's say, you have a little jiu-jitsu gym, small one, and it's just like one big family, right? Yeah. The dog's part of that family. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, even if you go into someone's home and the dog's part of the family, he's up on the bed, the couches, inside, you know, outside dog or whatever, like, bro, that dog has a lot of leeway. And you kind of...
Just so you know, I think this is an important, good point. I don't even know what it means yet. I have a dog at my house.
Of course.
My dog goes on my bed. Yeah. My dog goes on my couch. My dog does not go on my mats. Because I have mats at my house too.
Okay. Yeah.
Legit mats. You see my mats?
Yes, sir.
That's a dojo, right?
Yep.
Dog not allowed on those mats.
I understand.
So there's something interesting about that, right? Like I'll straight up just have my dog on my couch on me. Yeah. Straight up. Not on the mats. But not on the mats. Well, so there's a little indicator.
Yeah, it is. And again, that just goes back to your thing, that your personal preference, whatever that's based on, you know, that's on you and that's your thing, and I respect it pretty deeply, but nonetheless, it's still you. That's your personal preference. Yeah. Actually, let me ask you, why is he not allowed on the mat?
Hair. I think it's more hair.
Okay.
Like, you know, just hair on the mat.
So if he didn't shed for whatever magical reason, he would be allowed on the mat?
Probably I would be more inclined to let him on the mats. But also, like, maybe it's because on the mats, let's face it, your personal intimacy with the mats is more than your personal intimacy with your bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take my face and grind it into my bed the way I grind. You know,
or
like,
do you?
Well, no, I don't. So you're not in that like full,
yeah,
just chaotic, just contact.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like you can't lay in a bed or a couch as aggressively as you're laying on a freaking mat. Like it's just it's happening, dude. So
yeah,
I think that's part of it. You know.
yeah. I mean, but when you
Did your dog go on your mats?
My dog, yeah. At first, there was my dog's small, and it does not shed at all. It's hypo, whatever.
Yeah.
At first, that was a rule: no dogs on the mat. You know, and then I was like, "What am I?" Yeah, the mat's outside, by the way. So
yeah. So you got trees and insects and freaking birds and rats and everything's on your mat. You don't.
They have
care.
access. We'll just say, but nonetheless, So no, really, the point is, and I'm just trying to get to the bottom of how this stuff works because it's like, yeah, that's true. You don't grind your this, and so you're saying this but we train here though. You know how much other people grind. You wouldn't let other people jump in your bed. You see what I'm saying?
True that, yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, cool. It could be it, but maybe
you have
not.
to do
though.
like a mental disconnect when you're training jiu-jitsu. You just have to cast that stuff.
It's a different.
If it's gonna freak you out, man. If the dirtiness is gonna and the hygiene is gonna freak you out, jiu-jitsu is just not. You're not gonna be able to do it.
I understand.
If you can't set aside those fears of just disgustingness, it's going to be a problem.
I think that might be the fundamental concept that you have to evaluate. It's how grossed out are you going to get and what are you going to allow to gross you out? Okay, so let's say, because really when you go into, especially Victory, we got a lot of guys. Basically, and yeah, we clean the mats every single time. I get it. That's true. But again, it's going to come down to the idea. So we don't know what's being dragged on this mat. We don't know the history of every single person and their feet and their fungus and their freaking hands, where their hands are going and how often they wash them and what they're wiping and doing all this stuff. Like, we don't know. We literally don't know.
We may not want to know.
In fact, if you were to evaluate it from a logical standpoint, there's probably a lot of various germs and freaking bacteria and stuff that we might not want to. Yeah, exactly right. We might not want to know, So it's kind of like, okay, we do, our state of mind when we go on the mats is kind of that of like, I'm going to suspend my concern for the details of that and just kind of kiss it up to God in a way where it's like, we're just going to trust. We'll put in some rules that make us all feel better for sure. Like no bare feet in the bathroom and all this stuff. And does that help? Yeah, maybe not. But at the end of the day, it's like you're still contending with things that a lot of times we don't want to really recognize consciously, right? Okay, there's that. Okay, so I think that's like the baseline, right?
Bro, you're going deep.
Oh yeah, because this is real. Let's face it, there's a lot going on under the hood in this whole situation. Now we're introducing dogs on the mat. Now consider that little formula for the dogs, bro. We don't know where that dog is, and dogs get crazy sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Like as far as what they get into. Not to mention their own bodies, not to mention their own. And yeah, we read on the internet and this guy, that guy says things that make us feel better. Like, oh, the dog's mouth is the cleanest mouth of the animal kingdom or whatever. But like, bro, you don't know. We don't know where that dog's been. Right? So, and I'm not saying I wouldn't allow it. Quite frankly, I trust the owner. Like if the owner is like, yeah, dogs on the mat. This is my gym. Like dog, I'm like, fuck yeah. Because I like dogs. I think if it's a behaved dog that's not doing, coloring outside of the lines as far as behavior goes, bro, I'm down for it, and I trust. I'm not talking about me. I'm saying you can't be surprised when other people don't like that stuff. See what I'm saying? Whether it be the hair, whether it be just a dog that I'm not used to. Some people, they have traumatic experiences. That's on this side of the spectrum. I get it. But some people, they have traumatic experiences with dogs. Now they're nervous. So you can't be like, put it this way. I don't find it exceptionally reasonable to expect everyone to be okay with it. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if someone's like, hey, I don't like that stuff, bro, I understand.
Yeah. That's why you got to find a gym with your vibe.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit of a no germs vibe,
you
got to find a different gym if that guy's rolling with that dog on the mat. If you're all down. So that is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms, so we are not subject to their control. And we are doing this so that we can support the Jocko podcast, which will remain as is, free for all, as long as we can keep it that way. But we are doing this so we don't have to be under the control of sponsors, and we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us. And to do that, we're building a website right now where we'll be able to utilize to strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's JockoUnderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@JockoUnderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.